Happy New Year's, Internet! And oh, what a year it has been! And oh, what a year it's going to be! If you're just here to hear about the new Yu-Gi-Oh game that I mentioned in the title, jump to this time code. I'm going to spend some time with my regulars at the top of this video before I get into that huge announcement. But if you've been around for a while and like the channel, I want to start by talking to you. I've got some feelings to share and some updates on upcoming videos that you guys have been asking about in the comments. So with no further ado, let's start this video already. So, I still kinda can't believe this. This YouTube channel just crossed 25,000 subscribers. I started making content for this platform when I joined the modding community for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. My earliest videos were tutorials on how to mod the game, which I actually made so that I'd have a quick reference guide for myself, but thought, hey, maybe some other people online might get a use out of it as well. Turns out, some of them did, and since I had been on a bit of a Dragon Ball kick at the time, I decided to start making other content about that franchise as well. Over time, interest in Xenoverse modding declined, and the earliest fan theory videos that I posted were largely ignored. However, I fully intended to push through it and keep on making Dragon Ball videos until I hit a bit of a burnout wall at the end of 2019, during which time I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 for the first time because it was easily digestible in a time of depression. And damn it all if I didn't have a fan theory at the end of that show. So with new creative purpose, I set to work on what was to be my first and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. A theory about why the previous protagonists hadn't shown up in Arc 5 when that show was full of old and familiar faces. Now when I finished that video, I went to my good friend Reddit and shared the video with all the kind and wonderful Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans there. And, it was not good. The people there disparaged my work and called it garbage, even though several of them admitted to never having watched it. But at that point, I had just about had it with YouTube. My job didn't leave me with a lot of free time for side projects, and constant ridicule for my creative endeavors made it unworthy of the time, especially because 2020 was shaping up to be my busiest year to date at work. And then...
Breaking news tonight, millions of Americans ordered to shelter in place as the coronavirus pandemic spreads.
Yeah, so then the world ended and I had a lot more free time on my hands. And so must all of you, because somewhere around March, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video that I made exploded in viewership. I remember checking the view numbers every day wondering if YouTube was screwing with me. People were actually watching and enjoying my content. That video now sits at more than 1.2 million views, which is an audience larger than some of the broadcast television programs that I've worked on. So to the people on Reddit who told me that that video was an absolute waste of my time, hi. The rest of lockdown was a lot of figuring out what I wanted the channel to become, with 2021 being the first year I actually had some semblance of a clue as to what I was doing. The end of lockdown and my subsequent return to broadcast television work meant that I had less time than before to work on content. In fact, if you've heard anything about the film and television industry in the last year, it might have been that the hours have gotten longer, conditions have gotten harsher, and that the entire industry almost went on strike back in October. Suffice it to say, finding time for YouTube has been hard. Nonetheless, the channel tripled in size this year alone, which brings me to my main point. Thank you. Thank the ever-loving hell out of each and every one of you for being a community with which I could share my weird, creative fantasies and making me feel accepted in the process. It has made 2 incredibly difficult years that much more bearable. I have made friends on this channel, and the personal stories that many of you have shared with me about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has affected your lives and your identities have meant the world to me. You are beautiful people, and I love you for making the internet a better and weirder place. I sincerely hope that we can continue doing that into the new year. Which brings me to part 2. I get almost daily questions asking if I'm still planning on making the Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline theory video and when the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX rewrite will be up. The answer to the timeline question is yes, hopefully by the end of January. The answer to the rewrite question is more complicated. Now before anyone has a heart attack, I am not canceling the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX rewrite series. But, for context, I started making those videos in order to have fast content that I could churn out in order to keep up with YouTube's algorithm. Something that required less time to edit than the fan theory videos and would allow me to get content out more quickly. Unfortunately, 2 things have gotten in the way of that. First, as I already mentioned, my real job was a bit of a time suck over the last year. And second, I started to dislike the videos that I had already made. Listening to your own work for over a year to keep continuity with yourself is a good way to hate everything that you've ever done, and the comment sections were full of people who were rightfully pointing out mistakes that I had made along the way. So, going forward, I am going to change the way that the rewrite videos are done. The existing 5 videos will remain up in their current forms, but I'm going to start over again with a single Season 1 rewrite video, before doing single videos for Seasons 2, 3, and 4. Total runtime will definitely be shorter than tackling 3 to 5 episodes per video, but I imagine each one of these will be well over an hour, so I hope no one's too disappointed. The script for Season 1 is already complete, and that video will become a top priority once I finish editing the timeline video. If I could get one major video out per month, I would be immensely happy. In the meantime, I'm enjoying the character-based deck profiles that have come out over the last few months. Those are actually quick and easy, so I'm happy to see how many of you have been enjoying them. Those will keep the lights on while I work on bigger videos, so please, keep hitting me with suggestions for more deck profiles you'd like to see. It has been incredibly interesting for me to explore little bits of character around what cards someone would use in their deck, and it's a really fun way to approach the game. And speaking of the game, that dovetails us into Part 3. Duel of Destiny, the official, unofficial Yu-Gi-Oh! Tabletop role-playing trading card game, is an upcoming experience by me! Play with your friends and tell your own unique stories in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! And duel your way to the top to save your world, or conquer it. The game bridges the elements of classic tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, or The Call of Cthulhu, with the incredibly deep battle mechanics of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Players create characters to act as their avatars, and play through the events of a story told by the Duel Master. Duel of Destiny is a project I've spent the last several months working on, creating a character and role-playing game system that works in conjunction with the TCG as a combat mechanic. Characters will have traits and skills that make them more or less suitable to performing actions outside of duels, while using their decks, skills, and luck in order to battle their way through the story. The idea is that if you love playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, this game will be accessible no matter how much experience you have with the real-world card game. Campaigns that include beginners can make use of in-game items like the Millennium items or Marks of the Dragon to gain certain bonuses or abilities during duels, while competitive campaigns can force players to make do with nothing but the cards their characters carry. If you've ever felt compelled to buy a duel disc, this game is for you. If you've ever wished you could save the world using your Egyptian god card, this game is for you. And if you love telling stories while playing a children's card game, this game is for you. Over the next few months, I'll be talking about this game more as we draw closer to alpha testing. My hope is to start running playtests by March or April, and when I do, I want to play with you! Many of you have reached out to me with your own ideas for stories and your own unique takes on the show's mythology. So who better to help me make this game for fellow Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans like you? The playtest sessions will be done online, so it doesn't matter where you're located. It'll all be conducted in a virtual setting with me as the Duel Master and you, my friends, as the players. Those sessions will be uploaded here on YouTube, so anyone not playing can watch the development of the game. Hopefully, once we iron out some of the early kinks and bugs in the system, we can do live streams where the audience can have some impact on the flow of the story as well. I will put out an official call for playtesters as we get closer to that date, but for now, if you're interested, feel free to DM me or leave a comment here so that I can start to gauge interest. Kazuki Takahashi created the story of Yu-Gi-Oh! Out of a fierce love for gaming, to tell stories about how they can bring people together, the bonds that they form, and the love that they can inspire. This game is my love letter to his story and the stories he's inspired in fans all over the world. I truly cannot express how excited I am to share this journey with all of you as we go through the development process together in the new year. More updates on this game will come out in the following months, so if you want to be kept up to date with what's going on, hitting the subscribe button will help you to do that. And I hope that all of you watching this have a terrific 2022. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!